People often hear me talk about the 4 considerations of business, but I've written about a thing called addicted to relevance. And what do I mean by that? So very often I have business people come up to me and say, we need to grow. I can't get growth. Yeah, we're showing profits, but it's coming through a lot of cost cutting and restructures. And you can go into companies and you can see what I call they're on their 6th, 7th, 8th, sometimes 20th round. What do I mean by that? They have had that many restructures. In corporate business, what is a restructure? It's where you walk in and you decide, how many resources can I cut out of the business? How much cost can I take out of the business so that I can remain profitable? It's never pleasant. It creates a lot of fear in the environment. People are all walking around wondering whether or not they're going to have a job. You don't get a large amount of productivity from people who are worried about that. So what is the answer to true growth? The answer to true growth is relevance. I always talk about Steve Jobs, and I know a lot of people do. And Apple was a company that people all envy. Why? Because Steve Jobs was addicted to relevance. I write about him as being addicted to relevance because Steve was constantly looking for what mattered to people. What do I need to put out in the marketplace that's going to make everyone want it? During the worst economic downturn, he produced a thing called the iPhone. All the other cellular carriers were completely blown away. It took the wind out of their sails, literally. They lost business, they lost revenue, they lost market share. And why? Because this very expensive device called the iPhone, people were buying it on food stamps. They didn't care. They wanted it. It was relevant. They loved what it could do, what it had to offer them, and even if they had no food to eat, they wanted that iPhone. I believe that the answer to growth is being addicted to relevance in the same way that Steve was, where he would never allow his particular company to sleep on what their past successes were, always looking for the next big thing. Then came the iPad. And as you know, most companies that are really successful aren't meeting customer requirements, they're anticipating customer needs. So the answer to growth isn't pushing people to execute better, isn't necessarily a new strategy, isn't even necessarily a new business model. It's knowing what's going to make you relevant and being obsessive about getting there.